intro music? Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey, in this one, we're going to jump straight into it. Why? Because normally you would see me make an officer video where I wait to unlock the officer. But sometimes there are officers that have the potential to be so powerful, it's better to go ahead and talk about them now, which what we're going to do here today. We're talking about Annorax. How does he work? Is he useful for all players, etc., etc.? You know, the normal things that we're going to break down. But also, what has become kind of a theme with Star Trek League Man, what does he do exactly? And what I mean by that is, does he work as described, better than described, or simply not described at all? Well, we'll give you a little bit of both of that, as well as give you the answer of, is this the new PvE meta crew? As in, like, is this the one that everybody wants and needs to do all the things? So let's start with the captain's ability. First of all, I think that is kind of the big kicker. Past, present, and future increases select rewards from hostile chests, that being G3 through G6 parts, refined materials, FKR messages and credits, Voyager relics, mycelium, exotic biotoxins, Xindi scraps and bounties, Trellium, Batu Cray scraps, etc., etc., by 30%. Now, a full synergy, that is a 50% increase. And here's what's different between this and, say, Enterprise D Picard or 5 of 11, etc. This is affecting the chest, not the raw loot. There is a difference. The raw loot would be something you scan a hostile, it says, hey, this is what you're getting, or hey, you're getting this amount of reputation. What Annorax does is he actually adjusts the loot in the boxes themselves, which can be quite lucrative when you think about what is in various boxes around the game. For example, pop this back up. Let's talk about what is inside, say, Xindi scraps and bounties. Well, that can be a lot of really good stuff. In fact, that can actually really, you could argue, makes that process faster than normal because, yes, you can get a lot from, say, drops, but boxes in this game a lot of times can have a better payout. We know a lot of especially hostiles coming out of the game today drop a box every time you hit them. An example of a hostile that drops a box no matter what are mirror hostiles. Mirror hostiles drop boxes. Every hostile you take down gives you a box, whereas other hostiles, say your normal faction hostile over in Sol, well, that's RNG. It might drop a box, it might not. It's not a guarantee. Thus, you might not guarantee what's in those boxes. You theoretically could get nothing at all. That's possible. But this is affecting what's actually in the boxes themselves. And again, we're looking at a 50% max with full synergy. That would be, of course, with Seska. We know it's currently being sourced through the USS Relativity loop in DTI. And then Suitor is the rare, which for the moment is a purchase item at the time of making this video. But let's go back to, just throw up Suitor here real quick. Hey, Suitor, how you doing? All right, back to Annorax. Time is patient. Increases Apex barrier by 2,000, maxing out at 3,200 for 2 rounds when hit by a hostile, once per weapon, and it is cumulative. So if you get hit 10 times, so 10 different weapons, get a lot of weapons. Well, that would be, for me, 20,000. So, as you can see on this account, I do not have Annorax, but here's what I did. And I said this very clearly. I love that we have multiple people doing testing. So, Ultimate DJ has some testing being done. I reached out to a lot of our players to do testing, especially G6 and G5 players, to see what all does it work on. Can we confirm what the things work on? Can we get value from it? So, we're working on the premise of really investigating this top ability. And specifically, I wanted to know, hey, am I getting more stuff, say, from down here in the mirror universe? I mean, that's a primary area of grinding right now for players, especially 40 plus, with it being the ability to get tri-faction rep ground out. That also is going to mean more faction credits, etc., etc. So what exactly can we get from Annorax? And the tests show good results. Here's what they did show. Are you getting more opportunity chips in Xindi? The answer is yes. Are you getting more tech modules? Yes. So let's again go back down to Annorax and look at his abilities. What should he work on? And there are even some things that he works on that aren't even in the list. But we got opportunity chips. That's a big one, right? Because y'all don't remember, opportunity chips are the main thing that you need to do those big pulls for your Alliance tournaments. Make sure everybody's on the same page here. Tech modules, obviously obvious. But what about mirror? Now we see it talking about mirror here in a little bit. What exactly does that mean? So it says Trellium, for example, but Liquid Trellium D also gets the boost. FKR getting the boost as it says it should. That Liquid Trellium D, super good. So not just regular raw Trellium, liquid. That's freaking bueno. Also, another one not kind of pointed out here, but you see that says things like Herogen relics. Well, how can you expand on that? Well, through testing from various players, we have found that it works on the commerce insignias in the Borg systems for Voyager space. Now you might go, hey, I finished my Voyager loop. I never booted up anymore, but I gotta find the Voyager loop. One good thing that we always loved about the Voyager loop were these systems like Misa loop and Jalika way back in the day. I'll say way back in the day, it's not that far ago. But why did we like them? Because we could go there and farm messages, which we turned in for more faction credits, but also had a chance of dropping commerce insignias themselves, which allows you to get more from your Voyager refinery, which means more ship parts. And specifically with more ship parts, there's also the ability to now start affording these right here. So you have a surplus of these. Now you can say, hey, I'll get the amalgam because surplus. I'll get the Fuchsia, that's more latinum, surplus. I can go ahead and get the Cerritos. Hey, more research done, and ship XP, which believe it or not, is needed. You need ship XP. You can go in here and also get all of your boxes for this. For me, that's giving me more 5-star ship parts, which are very important. So if I'm able to get more commerce insignias, that is a better overall payout to improving various loops. As you can see here, by taking advantage of all these boxes, instead of, even if you have max at level 51 plus, well, then that would just be taking advantage of 3 that it pays you out. Or if you're below the level for maxing, remember you have to be at least level 51 to max out your USS Voyager. This is allowing you as a lower level player to have these pulls available to you in addition to other things that you're doing, because more commerce insignias. That to me is a tremendous value. And like I said, it does work on the Herogen relic. So there are a lot of good things that provide variable use here for this new officer, specifically when we talk about using this officer in its set. Now, to be very, very clear and honest, look, this is 2 epics and a rare. I don't expect everybody to have them. However, there are currently heroic SMSs and SLBs going on that if you are a hoarder out there, you can get this month that they've come out, but future sourcing will be something to keep an eye out on. Now, in terms of performance, I think we should have an honest conversation here. In terms of performance, are Seska and Annorax and Suitor as a group outperforming other PvE crews? Well, I don't necessarily think I would say outperforming. I would say that there's good value in them and they're not super weak. Like they're not Pipe Moro-Chin, right? If anybody who's like level 35 has Pipe Moro-Chin, you enjoy how great it is against every hostile. It's not necessarily going to have to, or depending on what tier you have, because remember, tier is a big thing. When we talk about Apex Barrier, that extends fights. That means you take less damage. But a tier 1 is significantly different than a tier 5. And I think most of you have played the game long enough to understand that. However, with that in mind, is this going to replace, say, the Janeway EMH Doc combos that you see a lot for higher level hostile grinding? Probably not if you're just trying to do it from a pure punch standpoint, but that doesn't mean that you can't have value from what you're going into and finding. And it's one of those that, like, I'm adding this in. If you're going into Mirror, there are specific loops where it just simply would make more sense if you've unlocked these crews and if you've tiered up these officers, especially, where it just makes more sense, like I said, to go after them and to use this crew instead, because it's specifically improving boxes. And the key there is the boxes. With so many new loops actually focusing in on that, where every time you hit a hostile, you get a box drop. If you can improve the contents of those boxes, like Mirror, then you're going to have a better return for your time investment. That is the potential power for every player out there, depending on when you watch this video, day 1 or day 1000 from when this video came out. That is something that we have not seen in the game yet and could be very valuable to you. Now, hopefully the information that we throw on the screen is helpful. And if it is, we do ask you to do a couple simple things. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out. And then if there's any way that you would like to see more, and if you would like to help with the mathing, let me know, because we like people who like to do the science and the math testing. It's actually really fun. I enjoy it. I'm a little bit weird, but you know what? If you're watching a YouTube video on a mobile game, you're a little weird too, and that's okay. Like I said, like the video, subscribe, and if you have more questions about Annorax and his crew, hit me up on Discord, Facebook, Reddit, every other place. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with their Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. I am out. As always, thank you very much for watching.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.